We are what? We are who? We are what? Vibrant. We are who? 50 plus. Hi, welcome to Gray Lives on the Rise. I am your host, Professor Jamila Franklin, and we are coming to you from Oyende Enterprises, being sponsored by Jamila Sense, which is our product line of aromatherapy products that helps heal the mind, body, and soul. And we are bringing to you Alamaj's rebirthing program, as well as Jamila Sense, and a host of wonderful programs that will help heal your body, heal your soul, and heal your mind. 50 plus people, we are here to stay. Gray Lives on the Rise. We are what? We are who? We are vibrant, and we are here to stay. Join us for our wonderful episodes. Thank you, and continue to look for our episodes weekly, being brought to you again from Oyende Enterprises and Jamila Sense. See you soon. Greetings, everyone. How are you? This is Professor Jamila Franklin, along with the beautiful Jenny Elinora. Today, we're going to have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful discussion. And we thank you so much for tuning in every Sunday and telling your friends and family about it. This is Gray Lives on the Rise. I'm the founder and creator of the concept. And both Jenny and I have on our shirts. You see Gray Lives on the Rise. Yeah. And we are going to have a wonderful discussion today. Talk about the wonderful Jenny. For over a decade, Jenny has helped empower creative expression in others. Her private coaching group programs and team collaborations have supported the skills and healing of hundreds of people in the realms of creative exploration and performance, culminating in the launch of her Grow Your Whole Voice Creativity Empowerment Coaching Services on Summer Solstice 2024. That work strengthened the roots of a vigorous grounding in her own whole voice. And at the age of 50, she released her own first solo work. The music, writing, and imagery of Project Jelinora, I like that, Jelinora, shows creativity, okay, is combining her last name, which is Elinora, with her first name, which is Jenny. Explores ancestral healing and abundant faith and the powerful femmergy. It's like merging energy with feminine qualities. So femmergy required for the transformation of our souls and our worlds. Whole voice equals the full creative expression of whatever we need to share in the world. Speaking, singing, songwriting, music production, filmmaking, drawing, painting, poetry, dancing, blogging, activism, community service, entrepreneurship, and all the rest of the magical possibilities. She is such a creative soul. If you saw her picture on our Facebook timeline for Gray Lives on the Rise, go type Gray Lives on the Rise also timeline. She did this wonderful pose. I loved it. Arms extended straight up, expressive, very expressive. There's nothing boring about Jenny. Love her energy. Greetings, Jenny. Thank you for joining us, beloved.
Thank you, Jamila. Thank you so much. Oh, and I'm so glad you noted the creativity of
Talk a little louder, beloved.
Okay. I'm really glad that you noted is that good? Good volume right now?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for noting the creativity of the name itself. My middle name is Elinora, and I'm kind of using it as my last name for Grow Your Whole Voice, and for Project Jelinora because that was my grandmother's name.
Oh, okay.
My grandmother that I never met, and there's some ancestral healing going on here. There's some like reclaiming
Yeah.
of the voice that she didn't get to use, basically, in her time and in her social location. So yeah, that's the idea of that. So thanks for calling that up. And yeah.
She is so proud because I do ancestral healing work as a therapist with my clients. And
Mhm.
so when I do it, I tell my clients that the ancestors are coming through. We are the portal for them to express what they were not able to express when they were here in physical form. Or if they were able to hear it, to express it, they are just letting us know that they're still around and very happy. So
Mhm.
yeah, thank you for honoring that wonderful energy.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you.
So
So
how
go.
did you get started on your journey? What happened? What inspired you to do this wonderful work? Because you have so many creative outlets here,
I do.
production, all those things. This is wonderful.
Right. Yeah. So I'm a musician, but I didn't sing in public till I was 33 years old.
Oh, okay.
So this was really a big part of why I'm doing what I do now.
Hmm.
And between the age of 33 and then, like you said, the age of 50, when I released my first solo project, I
Hmm.
collaborated on a lot of people's other projects, and I was gradually finding my own voice and figuring out what I wanted to say and how I wanted to say it. And also along the way was noticing that it wasn't just me,
Hmm.
as a woman in femme, kind of being not, devalued, our voices being devalued and
Hmm.
often silenced. And of course, that factor is even more as women and femmes get older. It's even more with other identities that people have, like race and economics and everything.
Yeah.
So I was noticing these things as I was finding my own voice. And so that basically turned into a point where 2 years now, this was 2 years ago that I released my first solo project when I was 50.
Mm-hmm.
And that turned into a point very quickly after I released that I realized I was ready to help other
Yeah.
people do the same thing, basically. And I'm just done sitting by and watching women and femmes be devalued and silenced by dominant culture and being unable to engage in creative life because they're expected to give like intense levels of support to everybody else, right?
Exactly. No, that's
So
very
now
true.
I launched it, like you said, in the summer solstice. And now, well, when we're taping this, it's almost winter solstice. And I'm so excited about that. I hope it's okay to mention
Mhm.
that because it's part of
Oh, definitely,
for
definitely.
me right now. But
Yeah,
yeah, so now
definitely.
I'm joyfully helping other women and femmes and other people too, but mostly women and femmes over 50, finding that balance that allows them to transform their lives,
Mm,
to be more creatively connected and expressive and like give them energy to care for other people instead of
yeah,
draining it away. Because
yeah,
yeah, when we end up fulfilling our creative passions and our creative dreams, we have more energy for everything.
yeah, yeah. What happens usually is that we keep pumping and pumping and pumping, to use the metaphor, and
Mm,
there is no more water in the pump,
yep.
and we're dry. So what
Hmm.
happens is that we overextend ourselves and we give to others without giving to ourselves. And so we're giving from empty cups. And there's so many women who are just exhausted. They've given to the all the family members, friends, and everyone else, and there was nothing left at the pump. So now we're saying self-care is extremely important, and knowing that you deserve you,
Yeah,
and to speak to your passion and not let it um, die within your soul when you transition.
right. Yeah, a lot of my clients, a lot of my customers, and I'm finding ways to reach you all more, like like being here today, but because it's not something that we often name in our culture, and so it's not even like, what do I need? We're asking ourselves, what do I
Mhm.
need? And the answers aren't there. But the ones who have made their way towards me so far, a lot of them are in, yeah, like are wondering about the death of their dreams, basically, right? Like, or are they running out of time? A lot of them are in some kind of major life transition, like empty
Yeah,
nesting or divorce or
yeah,
um,
yeah.
And a lot of us have had creative dreams. I mean, like I said, I didn't fulfill my first solo project till the age of 50. I that had been in me all along for decades and
Mhm.
decades and decades. And so, and I'd put it on hold. Didn't even let
Yeah,
myself dream about it consciously. So, yeah, we kind of I think we tend to kind of wait, like, oh, I'll do it later. And then by
yeah,
the time we get to 50 or more, we're like, okay, it's time. A lot of us are ready, right? I have one client right now who has been writing a book for 40 years, right? And
wow,
she, it just kept getting pushed off and pushed off and pushed off for all the usual reasons. She's publishing it this year. We are on a path, we are on a track to get that thing published, and it's wonderful. And like sometimes things take a while to
yeah,
germinate, to fertilize them and foment and germinate what they
yeah,
really want to be. When things are ready, though, they're ready. And I just
yeah,
really I don't want anybody else. I don't want to let any other women and femmes, especially over the age of 50, to kind of waste any more time. Your voice needs to be heard. That's my
yeah,
message. Let's get it out there.
yeah.
Yep.
And I think it's important for people to talk to someone like yourself who started a little later in life
Yeah.
because you can understand the hesitation, you can understand
Yes.
the apprehension as opposed
Mhm.
to people who start in their teens or whatever. So it's second nature to them. So
Mhm.
you are wonderful. You're an excellent example of someone who can coach someone who's been hesitant because
Yay.
you've been there.
Yes. I'm still there in a lot of ways, like
Mm,
fears and stuff. They don't necessarily just they're gone. I mean, they
yeah,
feel a lot less, they'd have less teeth than they used to, for sure,
yeah,
by far. And but we still working on it and still finding new ways and bringing new tools into my own toolbox to help others with too, which is pretty cool.
yeah,
So I love the fact that my lived experience, even as it goes on, just helps me do the job of coaching others better and better too. Love that.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So you're now in Vermont,
Yes.
residing in Vermont. And what is the culture there for what you're
Mhm.
doing in terms of inspiring women to take charge of their lives by using creative expressions such as uh, film, poetry, artwork, and some other things?
Yeah.
Is it accepted in that part of the country? And are the women um, are they open to it or are they somewhat hesitant?
Mhm.
Because Vermont is beautiful. It's beautiful. And it's close to Canada, which is really great. I used to live in Boston.
Mhm.
So my husband and I used to go to Montreal once every 2 years because we
Mhm.
were so close
Yep.
to Canada. And it was just so beautiful in Montreal. And all the arts were displayed and people were just so engaging and just so friendly.
Mhm.
But in Vermont, what is it like in terms of your particular profession and exposing women and having them become engaged?
Yeah.
How do you do it? Because I'm thinking, now this is a stereotype. I'm thinking that people basically are living on beautiful farms. They don't have a lot of human contact because there's so much land. So I don't get the urban feel, but that could be stereotypic because I left Boston about 26 years ago. I lived there for 20 years. But when we would go to Canada, we would have to go through Maine and go through Vermont. And it was a
Mhm.
beautiful country, but I would like to know how you're able to engage people who are
Yeah.
primarily isolated.
Mm.
That's my stereotype.
Yes.
Isolated and on
Yes.
farms.
Yep. Okay. So yeah, there's a big question, and it's a complicated answer, of course, but let me try. So because I have, I take a huge interest in this myself.
Mm-hmm.
So, my services are available beyond Vermont. They're available anywhere because a lot of it can be done online. However, I have a special interest in helping, because I am an artist living in Vermont, in
Mm,
helping a woman, femme artist living in Vermont. I have a special interest in helping others of this because there are a lot of uphill battles. We've already mentioned the kind of just being a woman or a femme, right?
mhm,
There's
mhm,
also, in rural places, as you mentioned the word isolation, that is definitely a factor. And
mhm,
it's a factor not only in reaching people or finding a quantity of population to kind of show this to. There's also like the sort of grassroots groundswell kind of effect can't be created as easily because
mhm.
there's a low population. I am in rural Vermont. It's Bradford, Vermont, which is a town of 2,800 people or so, and it's the biggest one in the region in the little area that we're in. So
Mhm,
like that's not
mhm,
very many people in general. There is
mm.
a difference in, I guess city Vermont, like Burlington and Montpelier areas. There's a lot more
Yeah,
cultural responsiveness on the part of the community. There's a lot more support. Again,
yeah.
women, femmes, and other people of marginalized identities definitely still also find much challenge in those places as well. The
Mhm,
rural thing adds another layer
mhm,
to the challenges. And so, yeah, when I've tried to reach out within my community for, the past decade or so, I'd say that you kind of asked, are people open to it? Yeah, there definitely are people who are ready
mhm,
and who are hearing the message and kind of have something in themselves or something they've gathered along the way that's letting them hear it. Right?
mhm,
That's a few people. And then in general, though, I would say culturally around here, that message is hard to land. It's hard to
uh,
it doesn't land. The sort of the even somebody who might have that question in their mind, like, oh, am I running out of time? If that's
mhm,
top of mind for them,
mhm,
the idea that there might be actually something that they could do and a process that they could go through to expand and live the life they're dreaming. And as far as
yeah,
creativity is concerned,
yeah,
it just seems so far-fetched, I think, to some people and
yeah,
and to a lot of people. And that's partly rural area. That's partly general dominant culture throughout the whole Western world. There's this either or of like, well, you either have to make money or you can live your dreams or something like that, right? Like we've got all these kind of myths that are perpetuated by, you know,
mhm,
by dominant culture in order to keep us in line, I guess. But so it's sort of an uphill thing, I guess. I'm seeing more and more though. I'm seeing a lot
mhm,
of increasing energy, both in
mhm.
my own community, and of course I'm connecting with lots of people from outside it now too, whilst I'm trying to spread the word here. Lots and lots of increased energy, especially from women and femmes over the age of 50
Yeah, yeah,
to like, yes, I hear this message. It's time. I'm ready to have some kind of transformation. And it could be a creativity based or focused one. And it's great.
yeah.
I feel like right place, right time for my life, for the people's lives that I'm connecting with. Sort of that micro to macro is just all right here. And I'm enjoying this
Mm.
transformation that we're witnessing. So yeah.
Well, it sounds like you very much that this is not a job for you. This
Mm.
is your passion with the legs.
Yeah.
You've given birth to it, and it's now a teenager, and that's just really remarkable. And as you were talking, I was um doing slight meditation with my eyes closed and
Nice.
envisioning
Mhm.
people in Vermont in the snow. I'm like, well, so you do a lot of your things. Do you do a lot of your things via Zoom?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because I was thinking because of the climate, there may be a little challenging for people to come out to weekly
Yes.
meetings.
I
Right.
don't drive in the snow. You know, a lot of people do. I won't. And so yeah, I've been pretty grateful for Zoom. Yeah, and for that reason, and for the fact that my reach can be further then, and yeah, and I do, you know, in on the horizon are retreats and everything, in both in person and Zoom retreats, because I love planning events and I love creating a world, I guess, for people to immerse themselves in, to
Mm-hmm.
get out of the everyday world. Because I myself have gone
Yeah.
on many, many, many retreats, like silent retreats at ashrams and things like that, and like
Yeah.
it really helps you to move, to progress and transform your life a lot easier. So I do want to do in-person ones as well. I'm in May
Mm-hmm.
actually, for any clients who sign on for the full package with me as of 2025. They will
Mm-hmm.
have a select group of people, like, will have the opportunity to come and be here in my home in Vermont, and
Oh,
do what I'm calling a micro retreat. I
oh, that's
piloted it
nice.
I piloted one with friends last August, and it was so great. And yeah, I just want to have, there's not that there's room in my house. It's pretty big. But it'll have to probably, I think it'll be kept down to 6 people, and that's if some people are willing to bunk with each other, and
Mm-hmm.
focusing on women and femmes as well. And
Mm-hmm.
uh, so yeah, I'm really excited about offering that in-person energy as well, because I also, as part of the transformational uh, stuff that's going on with my programs, there's sound healing, so that feels just so
Oh,
good,
yeah.
right?
I
In this
love that.
space together, and that's part of it. And yeah, just being in physical energetic space is it's I don't, there's no better or worse for either one. For me, there's different
Mm-hmm.
purposes to each. Like for me, when I'm taking a Zoom class or retreat, I can like go off camera. Sometimes you said you were meditating a minute ago. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
when I'm off camera on Zoom, I'm kind of humming and I'm giving
Yeah.
myself some vocal vibration at the same time, and it helps to assimilate the stuff that I'm experiencing. And then when I'm in person, I'm bouncing a lot of energy off with other people, which is also really great and beneficial for me. So it's
Yeah.
both, like,
A
and
balancing act. Yeah.
yeah. So people find their way to the things. I think we find our way to the things that we need most at any given moment. So I want to offer all the ways.
Yeah. And I think that's wonderful. And a part of what you do is dealing with ancestral healing. And that part has the ancestors coax us to go to the people that are the most appropriate. We think we're making the decisions, but that little voice in our head is making the decision, which is wonderful. And I think what you're doing now is absolutely great, because people are segueing back into having in-person meetings as opposed to just doing everything online. Because I think having the meetings online are just wonderful, wonderful, but you miss the human interaction, the nuances that you don't get on a text or on the phone.
Yeah.
You get it in person because you can see the person's eyes and whatever, so you can really tell what's going on, because there's no mask
Right.
for them to hide behind in terms of technology or in terms of whatever. But that's really that's really very good. That's excellent. So give me the profile of someone that you've worked with. The names will change, but
Yeah.
just give an example of how your novel, innovative, creative uh, platform has changed the lives or the life of one person or more than one.
Okay. Well, do you mind if I expand on the same? Just, I could do more than
No,
one of these,
no,
but
that's
the
fine.
the an interesting part of the story that I told a minute ago about the client who is has been writing a book for 40 years.
Mm-hmm,
Uh, One interesting thing about how she got into that is she first came to me. I was, up until this year, I was officially doing music, voice and performance coaching and lessons, right? Voice, physical voice, right? Uh, and so she came, and songwriting, I guess, has been included in that as well. So she came to me for that stuff. few years
Mm-hmm.
ago. And uh, because she's a songwriter as well. So
Mm.
she started getting all this energy through, and she's what I'm calling, she's like my avatar client, right? Like
Uh-huh.
she was ready from the start and
Yeah.
open to doing all sorts of different kinds of things and
Yeah.
going about it from all the angles instead of like linearly. Uh, so yeah, she through that process of like finding her own authentic connection to her songs and then in turn putting her own, like those songs became more authentic themselves and became more what they wanted to be through
Yeah.
that process. uh that just created a lot of sparkles. She ended up performing them for the first time ever at open mics and things like that, so that was a transformation in and of itself. And
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, she started writing this book that she had put down, like that she had lost the focus on. Like she did go back to it frequently, but she went ahead and gave herself a retreat in Cape Cod to go ahead and work on this book. So the songwriting creativity sparkles
Mm.
sort of translated over into the book,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
so then now, fast forward to now, which is a year or two later, um, and I'm starting this grow your whole voice thing for all sorts of creativity. I realize, oh, I actually helped somebody else finish and publish a book who had been
Mm-hmm.
working on it for decades. I did that like 5 or 6 years ago as well, just a friend who I was helping. And uh, I told her, I'm like, well, I'm doing this new process. I have this new creative pathways immersion session that we start out and really create a roadmap
Yeah.
for how to fulfill this dream. Are you interested? And she's like, yes. So it's happening, like
Yeah.
it's now happening. So yeah, the fact that creativity and seeds other creativity, like my solo project seeded this creative dream that I have now to help others. Like it's all this cool loop and whole feedback loop that keeps that for everybody that I work with that really like puts their own wholeness into it, is willing to
Mm-hmm.
put their own wholeness into it. What it does is it transforms their lives because not only are they fulfilling the creative dream that's like the first one, then all the other creative dreams that they have had
Mm-hmm.
become nameable, become
Yeah. Because of your
possible.
expertise. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's great looping process. And let me think of another. There's another. I'm just trying to think of
Well,
like
while you're thinking, I think
what?
that's amazing. But
Yeah.
because of your creative brain, you're able
Mhm.
to call things like this. It's not work for you. It's just a natural ability to let things flow. And that's what's really wonderful too. And I think that the planet is moving more into feminine energy where things are just flowing. We're not
Mm.
forcing things, uh, lording over people, telling them what to do. That aggressive, even though we're going to see a little bit more of that, but for the most part, the planet people are tired of that and they've shipped them parting with that.
Yeah.
So you fill in the gap with your creativity and all these other wonderful programs because
Yeah.
by using the media, the various media that you use, the poetry, the song, you're a musician yourself, and all the other wonderful things that I spoke about earlier that you do, that's healing the planet. Even though that may not be the original intention, it's healing people, and then people put the positive energy out into the atmosphere and the ethers. So thank you. I think
Yeah.
it's because they've taken, I know some states, they can't, they don't have art, they don't have music, they've taken those out of the school. So, and that's really interesting because now that they've taken that out of the school, students have become more robotic. They don't know how to connect well with people for the most part. And their creative muscle has been dwarfed because it hasn't been allowed to flourish. They don't teach them anything that's artistic or whatever. They just don't. So you're seeing a high rate of violence with young people towards each other because they don't have a creative outlet. They've taken
Mhm.
away recess, they've taken away the arts, they've taken away sports, they've taken away all of that. So then what do you do with bottled up energy? You just combust.
Mhm.
You know? So this is just so wonderful. So I don't want to talk about how you can help young children. Hint, 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 because this is not the platform for that.
Uh,
Hint, hint, hint.
that
But
actually is my former life. Like when I did music coaching, and
yeah.
I ran camps for kids as
Oh,
well. Like I
wow.
worked with
Okay.
kids mostly for like 20 years. So
Wow.
it is interesting how my life has shifted towards working with older people now. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, and I've done what I can with the kids at
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I think related to that somehow, you mentioned feminine energy, which is what I call femmergy, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Being part of this cultural transformations, being a big driving force. I think that's where my energy is going, is because uh it is adult women. It's
Yeah.
women over 50, and I have to say women and femmes, because this is not just, cis women who are helping with this movement either. Um,
Mhm.
but and with this femmergy. So
Mhm.
yeah,
I love that term, femurgy. I love
yeah.
that.
Yeah, and this is where it's being driven from, like this is the population that's being driven from. And hopefully the
Yeah.
kids that are living and experiencing this transformation, witnessing it from their various places, hopefully that'll help to bring them into that energy too. I
Yeah.
think we have the most power right now as a group, I guess, like women
Yeah.
in 50, in some ways the most energetic power, because
Yeah.
it's so transformative, just the very nature of moving past our oppressions, moving past learning to connect with each other around the things that we all experience as shared things. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could go
Yeah.
on about
Yeah.
that for a long time, but
Yeah. Yeah. But the passion that you have and invoke into what you do, people are just magnetically drawn to. And because I felt it when we first talked, and you can feel it. You're so effervescent, so people are just drawn to you. So, wow, whatever she's into, I would like to be into that. And you're giving women over 50 permission to express themselves in a creative medium that they were not able to do so in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, because they were told to get a real job. You know, playing, banging on the piano is cute, but you need a job. You need a,
yeah,
that's what parents used to tell us.
yeah,
You need
yeah.
something that's concrete. Be a teacher, work in a post office, do something that's going to bring in a steady income. And so you're now telling, and this is a wonderful stage, Jenny, because this is the stage where people can then give voice to the inner child without worrying, well, if I do this full time, then will the bills not get paid? Will we lose the house? Because most people who are over 50, a lot of them have paid off their homes. So now they have disposable income to do the wonderful programs like yours.
Yeah.
So let's talk about,
Oh, do you mind if I say one thing real quick to
oh
continue
no,
bouncing off of
definitely.
what you just said? So yeah, a few of the women that I'm working with now are in this life transition with their jobs,
Hmm.
right? Where they're
Hmm.
like, what do I do now? And they're looking into entrepreneurship. And we can see
Yeah,
all over the place, right? Like women
yeah.
moving into entrepreneurship and small business in like record numbers, including
Mm-hmm.
through coaching, which is what I'm doing, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I just think like, yeah, this is part of the, and by the way, entrepreneurs, I think the reason that I'm helping people who are becoming entrepreneurs as well is because entrepreneurship in and of itself is creative.
Yes. Yes.
So, and I'm also, there's one particular person that I'm thinking of right now who's an activist, and I'm helping her to make more powerful resonance with her voice within her spheres through,
Yeah.
so that her activism can be more powerful. And to do that, like that's by igniting the creative spark. That's the method that is serving the purpose of helping
Mm-hmm.
her to become more powerful in those spheres. And what else was I gonna say about? Oh, and also joy. I can't not mention joy related to that, right? Because part of
Yeah.
the a part of many women-led activist movements these days absolutely are centering joy as one of the key elements for being able to do this kind of work and do it long term, and keep our
Mhm.
so yeah, that creative spark and the joy, they just go hand in hand. So
Mhm.
thanks. Yeah, I interrupted you, but
No, no, no. It's perfect. It's
okay.
perfect. It flows right in because while your creative spirit is, your energy is like water, it just flows effortlessly. If there's a rock, you just go over it or around it or under it. You don't try to force it. You just, okay, let me just be fluid and go around it, under it, or um, above it. And that's what's so wonderful. What are, do you have summer programs or camps for women 50 plus? What types of programs do you have that you would like to
Yeah. Uh, so
discuss?
so far, I just launched this particular uh services in June, and so far
Mhm.
it's mostly been individual consults, and like I said, I just started a 4-hour pathways immersion session where people can really
Oh.
dig in and develop that roadmap for their creative dreams. So that's the foundation of it right now. As
Hmm.
we move into 2025, like I said, I'm going to offer my mini micro in-person retreat in Vermont in May, and then in October I'm going to have an online retreat as well. Uh,
Hmm.
a weekend immersion, basically 3-day immersion into
Hmm.
all of this stuff, all this process of unlocking the creative potential of ourselves and facing those fears and defining our dreams and finding the
Yeah.
steps and
Yeah.
milestones along the way, like looking, naming them ahead of time so that we can celebrate them when we reach them and all that.
Oh, I
So
love
yeah,
that.
the vision that I have though, it's absolutely week-long programs and
Yeah.
retreats and immersions are what I'm calling those things. It
Yeah.
could also probably energetically, and some of them will take the energetic form of camps and everything too, because I
Yeah.
come from
Yeah.
a camp leader background as
Uh,
well. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I said, okay, retreats, camping,
hmm
outside to commune with nature.
hmm
And I can see all of that.
yeah.
It's just so liberating, free. I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm feeling free. Oh,
Yay.
feeling free because anytime you're out of your linear mind, your cognitive brain, and you
hmm
start flowing with the energy of God, Jehovah, Yahweh, the creator, whatever name you give that being
hmm
inside of you and outside of you, when you start flowing effortlessly with that energy, life
hmm
just gets better and better and better. And those creative mediums that you use
hmm
are so perfect because people can express themselves, with the exception of a spoken word, by using an instrument or singing a song. So they're letting out whatever has been bottled up through
hmm
this particular art form that you're sharing with them and teaching them how to use that to better express what they're feeling on the inside. Yeah.
Yeah, and one thing I love about that is that, each of us has sort of a different uh, set of sensibilities that sort of draws us to different art forms or different creative
Yeah.
outlets,
Yeah.
that can include even activism and entrepreneurship. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, like the fact that there's principles and energies, as you're saying, the flowing kind of thing,
Yeah.
that sort of applies to all of them, and yeah, opening up to following those flows is so wonderful. And yeah, the going back to a little bit what makes us stuck, right? What makes us not able to do that?
Yeah.
Um, the with Julia Cameron, who wrote The Artist's Way, she calls these creative monsters, right? People and cultural situations that tell us, no, you can't, or oh, that
Mm-hmm.
wasn't very good, judgment, good and
Mm-hmm.
bad, all that
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I love how I basically, the summary of what I'm saying is I love how you're calling up the fact that energy is what kind of moves those.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
embodying that energy is what kind of moves those problems out of the way.
Yes.
It's creative energy, and yeah, that's I'd say the main thing that I've learned to work with in a real refined and subtle level.
And
So yeah.
I think that's absolutely wonderful. So for people, we have about 20 minutes left
Mhm.
or 15. So tell me the typical type client that you've encountered so far. How long have you been doing this particular um, work? And what's the typical client that usually comes to you?
Mhm.
And and you're open to everyone. So what is your demographic though, specifically? And I know it includes 50 plus, but
Yep.
is it all females? Is it females in one region of the country? All of that. And can people who may not live near you still have that close
Right.
connection?
Yeah. So
And by having you be their guide, their teacher.
yep. Yeah, so uh, the it's kind of cool that the people who have been most interested in what I do and the people that I most want to serve are the same, uh,
Oh,
which is women and femmes over the age of 50. That's what it is. They could be from I mean, I speak some French, so they could be from French speaking countries, but mostly from English speaking countries. And I
mm-hmm,
think there's a cultural element to that as well.
mm-hmm,
Um, and so, let's see. I'm trying to remember some of the other parts of what you asked. I, oh, you asked, so I started officially doing, having clients like this as
mm-hmm,
of last June. And I've slowly built
mm-hmm,
to like, I have a half a dozen solid clients now. I've done some piecemeal things. I am moving more towards packages because it really takes, again, speaking to what kind of client, it's somebody who's ready to dig in. It's somebody who's ready to fulfill their creative dreams and ready to like not let anything stop them, I guess. I have all the tools to help them not be stopped, but they have to
mm-hmm,
be ready and say to themselves, like, I won't be stopped, right? Even if they're just
mm-hmm.
borrowing my own faith for that moment in
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
That's good
yeah,
enough.
yeah, it is. It
Yeah.
is. As they
Yeah.
say, you fake it until you can make it.
Exactly. I mean, that has
You
been
know.
my experience this whole time too. So, especially when it led to like getting my own voice out there and singing in public when I was 33. And yeah, that whole phase till I brought up my solo project a couple of years ago.
Mm,
Um, so, like, and faking it till you make it becomes making it. It really does if you're really in there, if you're not actually faking it, you know what I mean? So that's a key element
mm,
of my customer, I guess you could say, of clients who will benefit most from my services.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um, yeah,
And is male, female.
I mean, mostly female. I have worked with males, and I'm happy to work with males.
Mm-hmm,
Um, and I would say though that uh, I don't know. I think maybe it's partly my energy, which is like drawing more females because I have this passion and this own personal experience as somebody whose voice has been devalued and silenced in so many ways actively throughout my life. As a woman, that's one thing. I'm not complaining. I definitely haven't had it as bad as a lot of people either on that front, but I feel the energies of that, I guess you could say. And
yeah.
I also, though, now that I'm thinking about it, I am what they call neurodivergent. So I also
Oh,
have an affinity with others who are not neurotypical. And
uh-huh.
there's also some silencing in being of that identity of
Mm-hmm.
being neurodivergent. There's some elements of silencing and devaluing of our voices in that realm too. So I have a couple
Okay.
of people, one of which is non-binary, so can't say woman
Mm-mm.
or man there, um,
Mm-mm.
and is yeah is Yeah, this is a good example of, kind of what they're doing. Their interest that they came to me with is to be able to perform. They sing. They sing amazingly. Um, However, like their facial expressions and some of the social cues things that they give out, right, are not what people are typically looking at or looking for when we're
Mm-hmm.
watching somebody perform a song, sing a song. But they're
Mm-hmm.
what they want is to be able to feel very authentic in themselves and let their body move however they want, whether that's what they call stimming. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, I've been touching my hair a lot today, right? Like that's part of that for me. Whether they're doing like whether they could even incorporate that kind of thing into the physical elements of their performance as they're singing a song, and let their face do whatever it wants to do, and still have that connect with the audience, because obviously performance is a back and forth, right? It's not just about the person who's performing. It's more, in fact, Livingston Taylor, James Taylor's brother, would argue it's more about the audience than it is about the performer themselves. So yeah, I I am very interested to see where this goes for this particular client. And I also am very interested to see if any other clients come to me who are neurodivergent and have like ways, want to navigate that balance of how to express themselves without masking, like trying to change who they look like on the outside, with being
Mm-hmm.
authentic and still making a connection
Mm.
with others. Yeah, I'm really curious about all that.
That's right and left brain.
Mhm.
Having a conversation.
Mm. Mhm.
Having a conversation. Like we gotta get, we understand the philosophical concepts.
Mhm.
Okay, right brain, but left brain says we have to bring it down a couple of notches
Mhm.
so people can comprehend and understand, because it's not just for us as we have the information, it's for others who may not have the information. So do you have any programs coming up, or how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah. What I recommend most for people who are interested in my services is they could book a call with me.
Yeah,
And that's a real easy URL to remember. It's just creativejumpstartsession.com. That's it.
creative jumpstart session.
And that can lead them to book a call with me, and then I can share what programs I have that I think might work for them based on their personal landscape, I
Mm-hmm.
guess.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and then I do offer like piecemeal workshops every now and then. I have a few scheduled for 2025, and
Mm-hmm.
that's on my website. That's projectjelinora.com/grow your voice. So that's a little harder to spell though. And frankly, like I would prefer just to connect with people, to be honest. So if you call me
Yeah.
at creativejumpstartsession.com, we'll get you to wherever you need. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I think the work that you're doing is so amazing, so wonderful. And it's just giving people the space, in particular women, the space to use this modality as a healing tool
Mhm.
for them, and giving that inner child a medium through which to express, because it's been so suppressed. There were
Yeah.
people who went into the field of medicine. I know some personally. They've gone into these different fields, and they have felt like giving their parents those degrees because it wasn't for them. The
Mhm.
parents were living vicariously through them.
Mhm.
So this program gives them a voice, Jenny. Jenny,
And you said permission. You used the word permission before. That's huge.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think it's so important, Jenny, because that little child, like I do in my therapy with people,
Mhm.
has been left at the railroad tracks, and the train is coming, and the child is like, come and rescue me. And
Mhm.
this program is saying, yeah, let's give voice to, yeah, and hug, let's give voice to that inner child that you've been suppressing.
Mhm.
And the various artistic media that you're working with are just so amazing.
Mhm.
So amazing. Yeah. What would you like to leave with our audience? And thank you so much. I would like for people to be able to get in touch with you, because I know that you would take clients also via Zoom as well
Mhm.
as in person.
Mhm.
And they can, Jenny, let's get creative. You can fly Miss Jenny
Oh yeah,
to wherever you are, to your island.
I'll go. I love traveling. I love it.
Yes, yes, because we're dealing with that kind of demographic. We're
Yep.
dealing with people who have bought their homes,
Hmm.
paid off their homes. We're dealing with that. So
Yep.
have Jenny will travel.
Absolutely. That's great. Oh my gosh, I love that. Do you mind if I use it?
Oh, definitely. It's yours. It's yours.
Oh
It's
my gosh,
yours.
I love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'll
Have
do
Jenny will
that.
travel.
I will create, and I will, I'm an educator. I will adapt any program to any needs, any group, any individual. I'm good
Mm-hmm,
at it. So
mm-hmm,
yeah,
mm-hmm.
have Jenny with
Yeah.
travel. I love it.
Yeah. 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 This is so wonderful because rather than people uh, thinking about retiring and leading boring, uneventful lives. This is something I look forward to. Yay!
Mm-hmm.
I'm no longer working that 9 to 5 just so we're broke called job.
Hmm. Yep.
I'm now free to be who I am and to express through this wonderful medium. And I have the right person, the right coach, Jenny, to help me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
CreativeJumpstartSession.com.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So the last few minutes you would like to tell the audience.
Yeah. Oh goodness, what to sum up with? That's a tough
Mm.
one.
But first of all, before
Oh,
we forget, give them your website information, all the ways that they can contact you.
yeah, creativejumpstartsession.com.
Okay.
That's how there's a call booking uh format there. You can just book a call with me whenever times are open, and it's a half-hour call. And what I
Mm,
do is I'll ask you, what you have going on and what your creative dreams are and what your obstacles might be. And
mm,
then we'll work out a plan on how to, I write in the call, no matter what, in that free call, you'll get a strategy or two at least from me
mhm,
for help, like, so even if it doesn't turn out to be like the coaching relationship that you're ready for, you'll get that either way. So it does,
mhm.
good idea to call me anyway. You get something. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
also have a creative spark meditation that I've created that I will share at that point as well. So an audio meditation, an 8-minute audio meditation that
Mm,
people can use over and over to kind of spark their creative thing energetically. So
yeah.
yeah.
So spell it for people because
Okay.
they hear it and then I'm like, okay, some people are auditory, some people are
Yeah.
visual.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I assume we'll include the link
yeah,
to
the
it in the
description and
YouTube
the
thing
link.
and description, everything. Yeah, but so
Yes.
spelled out it is, and you don't need the www, no need for that, but it's creative, CREATIVE, jumpstart, JUMPSTART,
Mm,
session, SESSION.com.
perfect. Perfect.
Yeah. Thank
Dot
you,
com.
Jamila.
Perfect. But thank you so much. So much. I've learned quite a bit about your wonderful program and learned how people can definitely uh, take advantage of it to grow themselves. Just because we're in the other season in our lives, we're still vibrant people. We're seasoned now. We're seasoned. We're vibrant. We're alive. We're healthy. We're just looking for new opportunities. The babies are out of the house. You don't have to worry about the things you worried about in the first half of your life. You're
Mhm.
free to explore. Don't leave this planet with your dreams and your desires in you.
Mm,
Go for it. Go for it. And have Jenny coach you. Have her coach you about how to get there using these creative mediums because she's a musician. She knows how to have you do it easily and effortlessly. Yeah. So, beloveds, thank you so much, Jenny. We
Thank you, Jamila.
appreciate you. We appreciate you. And thank you, beloveds in the audience. As always, we are here on Sundays, Sunday evenings, and we love you. Please go to our YouTube channel, Great Lives on the Rise. Check. Yeah. Yay. We have another. Yes. So check, subscribe, and like. And tell others about it. I mean, this is a growing movement. Sweeties, the train has left the station, and we're trying to hold on to get you on the train, okay? Don't wait a year or 2 years because we're going to be so far gone. We're going to be doing so many different things. We don't want to leave you behind, okay? Get on at the beginning of this movement. So we love you. Thank you for joining. Join us next week. And also ask Jenny questions. How to get in touch with her, how to have her come to your city or town or wherever to do these creative programs with people who are 50 plus. So thank you. Okay, until next time, beloveds. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Gray Lives on the Rise, being brought to you by Jamila Scents, which is the product line of Oyende Enterprises. Jamila Scents is a 100% natural aromatherapy line that heals the mind, body, and soul. This episode of Gray Lives on the Rise was intended to uplift you, to inspire you, and to motivate you. Please tell all of your friends, family members, and anyone you know who's 50 plus, who's living a vibrant life and interested in doing more and enjoying life even to its fullest. So thank you, and please subscribe, like, and comment on this video and all our videos. Thank you, and until next time, until our next podcast, namaste and be well.